So this is a video on how freediving can support stress management and trauma recovery. This is a very new area of work, but I wanted to share with my performance background and being a trauma-informed coach some information and tools. So we are the product of hundreds of millions of years of evolution. Our bodies are wired to protect, to adapt, to connect, to thrive in the wild. We've had technological advancements, however, our physiology hasn't had the time to catch up to that. Many people are living with systems that feel totally overwhelmed with chronic stress, fear, unresolved experiences which are getting stuck in the body, in the nervous system, long after the moments have passed. So our nervous system is basically constantly working on our behalf, scanning our environments to determine if we are safe or not. Our nervous systems learn what is safe and what isn't in our developmental years, often like pre-verbal, so we often don't remember events which have perhaps been challenging. And this is why it can be a little bit confusing, because it gets stored in our body and our body does remember. So because of those events, we start to form adaptations in order to get our needs met. This might look like becoming hyper independent, not relying on anyone, or perhaps going into sort of more people pleasing to try and get your needs met. So what once would have made a lot of sense back then can actually start holding us back as we kind of grow and get older. And the thing really to highlight here is that trauma isn't always about dramatic life events. It's really about a system that's learned to be on guard or shut down or to stay small and never learn how to come back to regulation, how to find calm, how to find safety. Which is why trauma can be less about the story and more about the state. And that means we have to work with the state in order to recover. So if you have experienced trauma, you may have a dysregulated system that struggles to feel safe even when it actually is. And that's why practices like freediving can be so powerful. So the first thing to mention is healing happens through the body. Trauma can rob us of a sense of agency and power in the world. We get stuck in the past at the time that we felt powerless around our situation. We can cognitively understand what we need to do, and we can understand what may have happened. But unless we have the felt sense in our body of safety, nothing will truly change. So somatic coaching works with the body's intelligence. We need to have that felt experience of understanding safety in the body. This doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be comfortable, because healing and growth is not about feeling good all the time. It's about being able to be with discomfort. And of course, that's where freediving comes in. We're putting ourselves in a contained, stressful environment where we are choosing to be under that stress and learning how to sit and be with discomfort and show ourselves that it's safe. And we retrain our system as a result of that. We also have a lot of physiological responses in freediving, which are super beneficial. So when our face is underwater and we're holding our breath, something called the mammalian dive reflex will kick in. And then what happens, our heart rate will automatically slow down. Blood starts to shift from our extremities to our vital organs. The spleen will release and squeeze oxygen-rich blood, and all of this sort of starts to put us back into a parasympathetic nervous state, and that's kind of our reset, rest and digest. And we want to be understanding and bringing back to that place as often as possible. So this isn't just about calming, it's about teaching our body new associations. That stress doesn't necessarily mean danger, that you can be calm, you can choose those situations even when it's a little stressful. So freediving also reconnects us to our bodies. Trauma can often cause disconnection. We live in our minds because it's now no longer safe to be in the body. But slowly, diving can bring us back into physical sensations, back to the breath, back to pressure, back to presence, back to the sensations. And it starts to rebuild trust. We can start to feel our bodies as allies again, rather than against us. And of course, there is the ocean itself. So being in the beauty of the ocean, in silence, in awe, it reminds us that we are part of something bigger. It's humbling, it's beautiful, and it's deeply healing. So if this resonates and you'd like to learn more, I have a couple of workshops happening. One is in person in Cape Town and one is online on the 4th and the 8th of July. I'm also running a retreat in November in Dahab. So if you'd like any information for those, please reach out. I'd love to connect and share this information with you.